You think you have seen it all: the Eiffel Tower, the Grand Canyon, the Great Wall of China. But what if I told you the world still has places so hidden, so surreal, that even the people living nearby have no idea they exist? Welcome to the world of unseen wonders. This is not your usual travel list. These are places tucked behind forgotten paths, buried in legends, or concealed so well by nature that you would miss them, even if you stood right in front of them. Today, we are going to explore 5 of the most mind-blowing hidden locations around the world, places even locals cannot believe are real. And by the end, you might just want to pack your bags and search for them yourself. The door to hell, Derwaze, Turkmenistan. Imagine driving through the vast Karakum Desert, sand stretching endlessly, not a soul in sight. Then suddenly, a fiery crater emerges from the earth, burning endlessly, like the gates of some mythological underworld. This is the Darvaza gas crater, famously known as the door to hell. This massive pit, measuring 230 feet across and about 100 feet deep, has been burning non-stop since 1971. It was created when Soviet geologists accidentally drilled into a natural gas cavern. The ground collapsed, swallowing equipment and creating a gaping crater. To prevent the spread of methane gas, scientists decided to set it on fire. They thought it would burn out in a few days. That was over 50 years ago. What makes this place even more surreal is how hidden it is. Located deep in the desert, it requires hours of off-road driving to reach. And while many Turkmen citizens are aware of its existence, few have actually seen it in person. For years, the government did not promote it as a tourist attraction. It remained a burning secret in the desert, a place locals whispered about but rarely visited. Standing at the edge of this inferno, with flames dancing beneath your feet and the smell of gas heavy in the air, you feel like you have stumbled onto another planet. A hidden, hellish marvel that defies explanation. Here is the interesting part: tourists who find it by accident often ask why it is not world famous. The answer is simple. Some wonders stay hidden not because they are inaccessible, but because they are unbelievable. Geosaddler Village, Faroe Islands. Next, let us fly north to a place where grass-covered cliffs drop straight into icy blue waters. The Faroe Islands, located between Iceland and Norway, are home to many dramatic landscapes, but none more enchanting than Geosaddler. This tiny village, with a population of just a few dozen people, was almost completely cut off from the world until 2004. Before that, there were no roads. The only way in or out was by hiking over a treacherous mountain or via helicopter. The isolation preserved its charm: wooden houses with turf roofs, sheep grazing in open meadows, and the sound of wind and waves replacing the buzz of modern life. What makes Geosaddler so magical is its impossible setting. Behind it stands the towering mountain of Hainan Va, and in front, the famous Umbalafasher waterfall cascades into the ocean. It looks like a postcard that forgot it was supposed to be real. Tourists who visit often describe it as something from a dream or a glitch in the Matrix. Even Faroese people were stunned when the tunnel finally opened in 2004. Many had never seen the village themselves. Now, while it gets a trickle of visitors, Geosaddler remains one of the most peaceful, fun-touched places in Europe, and one of the last true hidden gems. Want to hear something wild? The residents originally considered abandoning the village entirely. Imagine if they had. This wonder would have quietly disappeared from the world's memory. A place no one would believe had ever existed. The living root bridges. Meghalaya, India. In the dense, mist-covered jungles of northeast India lies something so ancient and unbelievable it could be mistaken for folklore. The living root bridges of Meghalaya are not built, they are grown. For centuries, the Khasi and Jaintia tribes of Meghalaya have guided the roots of rubber trees across rivers and gorges. These roots, carefully trained over decades, thicken and entwine until they form sturdy, natural bridges. Some can support the weight of dozens of people and span over 100 feet. The most famous of these is the double-decker root bridge near Cherrapunji, a tangled masterpiece layered with moss and mystery. The bridges take 15 to 30 years to become fully functional. That means the people who start building them may never walk across them. They do it for the next generation, a living legacy hidden within the jungle. Why are they still relatively unknown? Because Meghalaya is not on most tourists' radar. Reaching these bridges requires long hikes, river crossings, and navigating remote terrain. Even many Indians have never heard of them. Locals in other regions of the country are often shocked when shown pictures. Standing on one of these root bridges, with water rushing below and birdsong echoing through the trees, you realize this is not just a place. It is a lesson. A lesson in patience, harmony with nature, and the quiet genius of indigenous engineering. And just when you think it cannot get more mind-blowing, you learn that some of these root systems are still growing. That means future generations will witness new bridges take shape, wonders that are still hiding in the future. The Crooked Forest, Poland. Now let us turn to a place that feels straight out of a fairy tale. In a small corner of western Poland lies a forest that has baffled scientists, artists, and travelers for decades. Known as the Crooked Forest or Kraziwy Las, it contains around 400 pine trees, each of them bending at a 90-degree angle near the base before curving upwards. The trees look like something out of a surreal painting. Some form perfect arches, others resemble question marks. And no one knows exactly why. There are many theories. Some believe early foresters manipulated the trees to create naturally curved wood for furniture or shipbuilding. Others think heavy snowfall when the trees were young caused the strange shapes. But none of these explanations fully account for how uniform the curves are, or why only this tiny patch of forest exhibits the phenomenon. Even locals in nearby villages are divided. Some have heard stories passed down from grandparents. Others grew up nearby and still have no idea what caused it. One thing they agree on: it feels like the forest is hiding a secret. What adds to the mystery is how hidden it is. The Crooked Forest is not widely advertised and often skipped in travel guides. Tourists who stumble upon it describe the sensation as eerie, magical, and impossible to explain. So next time someone says all forests look the same, show them this, and ask them if nature might be playing a trick we still cannot understand. Son Doong Cave, Vietnam. Our final destination is perhaps the most astonishing of all. Deep in the Phong Nha, Ki Bang National Park in Vietnam lies Son Doong, the largest cave in the world. But it is not just its size that makes it special. It is what is hidden inside. Son Doong is so massive that it has its own climate system, jungle, and even clouds. Yes, you heard that right. You can walk into this cave and find a thriving ecosystem that includes towering stalagmites, underground rivers, and skylights that allow sunbeams to pierce through, creating surreal light shows. Discovered only in 2009 by a local man and fully explored by British cavers shortly after, the cave had been hidden for millions of years. Even nearby villagers were unaware of its scale. The entrance was disguised by dense foliage and a steep descent. What makes Son Doong almost unbelievable is how it defies expectations. You do not feel like you are in a cave. You feel like you have entered another world. Some chambers are large enough to house an entire New York City block, including 40-story buildings. And yet, despite its grandeur, it remains one of Vietnam's best-kept secrets. Entry is restricted, requiring a guided expedition that includes jungle trekking, river crossings, and camping inside the cave. Only a few hundred people are allowed in each year. That means the majority of the world has never even heard of it. Locals living just a few miles away are still surprised by images from within. Many say it is hard to believe such a place exists so close, yet so hidden. Now imagine this: a place where nature created a secret world under your feet, waited millions of years, and then whispered to just a few people brave enough to listen. That is the kind of unseen wonder you do not just visit. You remember it for life. So, whether it is a burning pit in Turkmenistan or a living bridge in India, the question is not if they exist, but if you are ready to believe. If this journey opened your eyes, subscribe for more hidden gems and travel mysteries. And let us know in the comments, which of these places would you risk everything to see with your own eyes? Because sometimes the most unbelievable places are the ones that are real.